Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider, as well as lead Lakers content creator for Offside, joined on this fine Tuesday afternoon by Harrison Fagan of SB Nation. Harrison, the premise of this show, we have reached that very tenuous spot in some Lakers seasons where I'm starting to get optimistic about the team and the direction that the team is going in. So in this one, we basically have a couple of choices. We can lean all the way in, open our hearts up, and get ready to get punched right in the gut eventually, or we can nitpick and try to find reasons that I should not believe or should come down from this high that the Lakers have us on in the middle of this 6-game winning streak. So which way would you prefer we take this?
I think the streak's over, fun's over, everyone. The Lakers are about to go on a historic losing streak. Because I knew that as soon as I saw the subtitle up there, Anthony is feeling optimistic. I was like, oh yeah, it's over. Sorry.
Yeah. I didn't want to write the word. I'm so afraid of this feeling.
I think just the implication is that it's over. Like anytime you feel good about this team, like it's all coming crashing
down. So yeah, we're going to talk about the 6-game winning streak that the Lakers are on. We're going to talk about the impetus behind this 6-game winning streak, that being that LeBron, Luka, and Austin have seemingly found how to play together. And the numbers kind of back that up. Small sample size theater notwithstanding. We'll talk about the rest of the West, which, Harrison, you and I spoke last time about the rest of the West and how it's like weird how the Lakers get held to this crazy high standard, but a lot of other teams' questions just kind of seem to be ignored. And all we've seen since then is more reason to be concerned about those other teams, including the Lakers beating some of them. So we'll talk a little bit about the Lakers standing within the West. And yeah, like over the course of the show, I'm sure you guys are going to have questions and comments and stuff like that. So we'll get to as many of those as we go along as we can, and certainly wrap with a bunch of questions there at the end. But yeah, I mean, the Lakers, Harrison, 6 games that they have won in a row. They have wins over the Knicks, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, and the Rockets. They have won in a variety of ways. They have looked really good. They have also let teams back in. Last night's win, I don't think I would consider that all that impressive, but it was also important, right, that they win that way, given the makeup of this roster and some of the questions that you and I have had about this roster over the course of the season. I'll hold off on, my grand proclamation about what I think this Lakers team is capable of. But where do you stand on this? Like, how much of this do you think is Mickey Mouse March basketball, or how much of this is like the Lakers being legit?
Yeah, it's like every year we're like, don't fall for March basketball. We write it down on our hands, and it's like, this isn't, the results aren't real. We see this every year in the playoffs. We do like 100 podcast segments on is so-and-so team legit because they went on a winning streak in March, and then it turns out like, no, it was not. But I guess I'm willing to get tricked again because the win.
Hold that ball, Lucy. Here we come.
I think this time I'm going to kick it, Anthony. I think that the wins have been against at least reasonable competition. Like I'm not saying they've beaten a murderer's row here. All of these teams have flaws too, but that's, as we talked about before, that's sort of the West. And, like they should have, I think I sort of stand by last week when I was talking about, like, they should have a puncher's chance, at least be able to be competitive with, I think, just about any team but the Spurs in the West.
Yeah, and I even the Spurs, like, I mean, we'll see how they handle the playoff setting and all of that. Like Fred VanVleet went kind of viral the other day saying everybody needs to slow the bleep down on the Spurs.
He's trash talking from the injured reserve.
That's crazy. It is nuts. It
Yeah.
is absolutely crazy. Like, if
Because
I
this
were on
Rockets
this team,
team
I'd
is
be
so
like,
experienced.
shut
They've all
up.
been through so many battles together, you know?
Like, if I was on the Rockets, I'd be like, Fred, shut up. Like, why are
Fred, you're
you
making it
giving
worse.
like why are you giving them the bulletin board material from the IR? But yeah, like so the way that we kind of talked about the Lakers this last time, one of the points that we made, and I should have brought up some like clips of it, but one of the points that I think we made was how every team has their questions, but I have felt like the Lakers have had the most meat left on the bone that they have
Yes.
been able to more recently get to and enjoy. And we've kind of seen what that looks like. And it all starts, like we've been saying this all along, like since this trio came together, the Lakers are only going to go as far as those three are going to take them. And we've seen this nice kind of slotting of Luka obviously is priority number one in the offense. Austin is priority number two in the offense. And LeBron has not just accepted, but I think at times really relished being the third option who gets after it defensively, gets out in transition, and winds up being, like the final blow that I kind of think of the Lakers offensively as the loot train scene in Game of Thrones, right? Where you have, it kind of starts with the initial wave of fighters that the Lannisters were kind of trying to deal with, and then eventually it was like the Dothraki being like these crazy maniacs who were like riding on top of their horse and shooting arrows. And then after you've dealt with or tried to survive all of that, here comes this big fucking dragon that's just and like that's how I kind of picture LeBron, where it's like, you'll watch the Lakers run these sets where they're initiated by one of Austin or Luka. Then the ball swings over to Austin or Luka, and they go up against a compromised defense. And then you'll get like a LeBron stampede cut at the end of a set, and it's
Yeah.
just like that defense is just like, okay, what do we do here? And it's been this really fun thing to watch develop. And I think because that trio appears to be legit, and because they all have seemingly accepted the roles that are best for the team, therefore the Lakers are legit. What have you seen from LeBron, Luka, and do you agree with the analogy in comparison to the loot train scene?
I love the analogy as someone who like their algorithm on every single social media platform now is just like, here's another Game of Thrones clip. And I'm like, oh man, I should rewatch it. And then I remember how it ended. I'm like, it was so good though. Um
Yeah.
and
I just like to think it ended at like midway through that final season. Like they never
yeah, they
arrived
defeated the
at
Night King and it was all happily ever after.
it was it. That was it. They all decided
Yeah.
to stay there in the north. They never went south. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with what you're talking about with like the Lakers. And one of the things that I've been thinking about since our conversation last week, where I went like devil lawyer mode again, and was trying to, argue for the devil and explain why LeBron
The
might not be a
lawyer
role
mode.
player. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that I've been thinking about since that conversation is like, are we not accounting for enough? When we talk about like, oh, LeBron's going to have to sacrifice, LeBron is going to have to sort of step into this third option role because he's really the only guy that can do it. Austin can't do those things. Luka can't do those things. LeBron is the one with the skill set where he has the athleticism that can sort of help the Lakers make up for deficits where they are lacking and where those other two stars are lacking. And the thing that I was thinking about is like, are we not factoring in enough that this has sort of been what LeBron's wanted since like 2020 or
Yeah.
2021, where he has been like, please get me another ball handler, get me Dennis Schroeder, get me Russell Westbrook, get me whoever, get me anyone who can dribble the ball so that
D'Angelo
I do not
Russell.
have to do it all the time. And the Lakers were like, okay, we got Luka. And then okay, how about Austin Reaves too, who you already trust at the end of playoff games? And like, we were talking about LeBron's muscle memory and him having to sort of learn a new way to play. But has he been wanting to play this way the whole time? Has this sort of been what his dream vision was, where it's like, hey, like, I'm ready to be a role player. I'm ready to get easy buckets off of the threat of someone else because I'm so overqualified for like to be a third option in the offense. And I don't want to have to crack the defense myself every single time. And like, I've just been watching. First of all, I think he heard all the noise about how the team looked while he was out. And like, he's very aware. And also, he was watching these games. How could he have not seen exactly what the Lakers needed?
Was exactly what I was
as
thinking.
high of a basketball IQ as anyone has ever had. He's watching it from the sidelines and he's seeing how they're thriving again with Austin and Luka in those roles. And it's like, okay, well, where can I fit in that augments this attack instead of them trying to fit in around me? And I think he's done that. Like, he deserves a ton of credit for coming back and sort of immediately hitting the ground running as like the role player.
It's so funny to think of it in those terms where it's like, I want this thing, I want this thing, I want this thing, get this thing. No, I don't want that one. You know, like the idea that like he would have been asking for so long for this. And now, like, look, I think he would have preferred that the Lakers get a good enough creator while he and Anthony Davis were there together, because I think he really liked succeeding with AD. But
definitely tried to make it happen.
Yeah. But like I think that, you know, in this case, the way that I've always kind of looked at things, Harrison, is always through the lens of incentive. And he has every incentive to make this work between now and either the end of this season, or, you know, we'll see what decisions he makes coming this summer. But like if LeBron had not bought into this role that he has been asking for, that he can now fill, that he can do so with the confidence that like he has an MVP candidate over there in Luka and an all-star over there in Austin that can kind of guide and drive the offense. Like if he didn't make this work, that looks poorly on him. Like that reflects poorly on him. You know,
yeah, we can finally say it. LeBron's a loser, you know. Please don't clip that out of context.
But like it would not have, like, it would change, I think, how a lot of people view him here at the end. Whereas now he buys into this. He kind of proves that he's the, like, he is the level of basketball mind who is able to look around and be like, all right, this is what this team needs from me. I can do this thing. In all of the ways, by the way, Harrison, he was talking about at the beginning of the season. He was like, I'm a chameleon. I can figure out, like, just give me some time, give me some reps, and eventually I'll figure this out. And over these last 6 games, you know, and yes, like there are a couple of games against the Pacers and against the Bulls, and he wasn't in all of these games.
Hey, the March Bulls, that's a contender right there. Okay, that the March Bulls are not to be taken lightly.
Josh Giddey's March jersey belongs right up there alongside Michael Jordan's in that arena.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're doing the all first team Mickey Mouse March, it's like Bam and Josh Giddey are like mainstays there forever now. They're in the Mickey Mouse March Hall of Fame.
Did you see that Bam won? So Luka won West Player of the Week, and then Bam won East Player of the Week, and Bam only averaged like a few more points per game than Luka did, despite scoring 83 in one of those games.
Now, in fairness, Luka has been pretty good too. So, you know, he hasn't been scoring 80. He's been averaging like 40 during this streak. So it's a pretty high average.
But it was nuts. It was like Bam was averaging like 51 or something like that. And I think Luka, over that week that he won it, was averaging like 47 or something crazy, whatever it was, whatever the number was. And I was just laughing. It was like, there's only so many games that can bring a number so far down from 83. Yeah. And, you know, Bam figured out a way to do that. But yeah, like I just think that, like, for one thing, also, like, it also needs to be said, I'm often very cynical on here, but it is legitimately cool to watch LeBron sit there, recognize what this team needs, swallow his pride, and then fill the role that this team needs, even though, like you said, and I completely agree, he is completely overqualified in terms of his like career bona fides to be able to do that. Like that is
It's
the,
like the
the kind of
highest
thing
level
that like
guy. I was gonna say it's always interesting to me to watch these guys and like how they end. Is it gonna be like Tracy McGrady, where you just sort of get forced out of the league because it's like you're just not good enough to do that 1A stuff anymore? Or are you gonna be
yeah,
like Vince Carter, where you stick around like 6 years longer than you really needed to because you become an entirely different player? And I'm not saying LeBron's gonna play like another 6 years or whatever. He's
no.
like at the age Vince Carter was when he hung it up. But it's always cool to see these guys who were stars sort of like embrace a dirty work thing at the end of their career. Like Sean Marion on the 2011 Mavs is like another example of this, where he was a guy that was like a much higher pedigree player and just was like, I'm going to be the glue guy for this team. That's what they need. I'm just going to sort of fill in the gaps wherever they need it and do all of the dirty work stuff. LeBron is obviously a higher level player than like any of these guys. And even like Karl Malone on the Lakers, not a guy that you want to compare guys to like today for a lot of reasons, but like just speaking strictly on the court, strictly on the court, that last season that he played with the Lakers was an incredible role player and sort of just completely embraced being like the fourth banana, fifth guy in the lineup that was just gonna like clean the glass, get deflections, try and do the dirty work. Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, like it is LeBron's whole career has been like, what if Karl Malone could dribble?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now
wasn't
he's
the
just like,
horrible human
oh,
being.
okay, well, I'm not faster than everyone anymore, so I'll just be prime Karl Malone,
Yeah, I saw I should be it's like LA Bound on Twitter um made a like a phenomenal point in a tweet. And I don't know if I retweeted it, but I saw it. I should have retweeted it if I didn't. I will after the game or after the show. But he said that he likes he loves it when he likes those stampede cuts that the Lakers will
Yeah.
get LeBron involved in. And the reason that he likes them is because it emulates in the half court setting the transition game that LeBron is the best transition player in NBA history, and I completely agree. And
how many
yet
teams
again,
has LeBron ever been able to have stampede cuts to the rim unaccosted? Like have enough
right.
high caliber players that they can draw the attention and then get him an open lane to the basket.
Yeah, how frequently, if ever, in LeBron's basketball life has a team been like, "Oh shit, there's LeBron,"
Yeah.
like his
I
defenders.
forgot where LeBron
damn,
James was. That's my bad.
And that be like with this team and with this offensive structure and makeup, like it's not excusable, but it's explicable, right? It was inexplicable for the vast majority of LeBron's career that, like, yeah, this guy, you have to know where he is every millisecond of the court. And usually the reason that you know that is because he has the ball in his hands for every millisecond that he's on offense. But like right now, you have this spot where the Lakers have him playing in this role and can occasionally run these stampede cuts that involve, the other team just being like, geez, all right. We already pre-rotated to offer some help against Luka, who last night I should have made this point on Offside. I should have made this point on the show last night with Raj. Houston has some of the most athletic players I have ever seen. Amen Thompson, like this guy, like Amen Thompson is doing things on a basketball court at such a crazy level that other NBA guys are like, hold on, and yet Luka looked so comfortable against them all night last night. It's absolutely insane to watch. Like I was thinking down the stretch, I was like, actually, I think, the pick and roll stuff and all that, like all they're going to do is switch it. So I would kind of go away from pick and roll down the stretch against this team. And I wanted them, and I'm glad they brought Ayton back into the game so that they could just kind of punish Houston's lack of size and girth. But one thing that I was kind of thinking was like, I want Luka in the post specifically against Amen Thompson, because that's the best way that you can kind of counter that kind of raw athleticism. But the nice thing is that the Lakers, like, offensively, they have an answer to every punch and every counter punch that a team can throw at them. And again, I'm not saying that they're going to throw all of those counter punches at all times or that those counter punches are always going to land, but that the Lakers, like, I remember if you ever listen to Greg Maddux talk about facing Tony Gwynn, as you know, in that pitcher batter matchup, he would always get so angry because he's like, I throw every pitch. I throw all of these pitches from a variety of angles, and I do all of these insane things. Greg Maddux was literally called the mad scientist because, like, the baseball would just do ridiculous things coming out of his hand. And yet it didn't matter because Tony Gwynn had a swing for every single one of those pitches. And it was always like some line drive up the middle that, you know, always found grass in the outfield. And that's kind of how I see this Lakers offense. And look, like, will the Lakers be able to trap and double and zone up all of these teams to the extent that they've been able to during this run? Probably not. Like, at some point they're going to have to be able to play better straight up defense. But I don't know how many teams are going to be able to do to the Lakers anything consistently enough and get, you know, to be able to get stops over the course of, let alone, like, not just a game, but over the course of a 7-game series, give these guys all that time to figure out any of these teams. That's pretty intriguing. I want to talk about Luka because, you know, what we're watching from him, I'm not gonna lie. Over the course of my time watching Luka on the Lakers, I have had plenty of doubt as to whether or not this guy can win a championship playing the way that he wanted to play and being the best player on a championship level team. And I'm here to say that I'm wrong because the caliber of basketball player, I have been wrong. The caliber of basketball that this dude has been playing over this run, and I'm not expecting him to average 38 points a game from here on out, but his ability to just get to his spots, wear down the the other team's best defender, and basically force all of these teams into submission over the course of a game. And then also, like, I had a commenter on last night's show ask me why I call it selfless that Luka is playing defense at the level that he's playing. Most players who are as talented as Luka is and who are playing offensively as well as Luka is playing don't also make an impact defensively. You know, they usually save their legs so that they can continue to be that kind of effective on offense. And to
There are
watch
guys
him
a lot
defend,
less effective than him who save their legs for offense.
absolutely. And watching him defend the way that he has during this stretch, that, as well as the spectacular things that he's doing offensively, but the combination thereof makes me say, holy shit, we could be talking about the best player in basketball right now and for the next couple to few seasons. Like, he is doing stuff on a basketball court that, like, we cannot just kind of take for granted.
I thought Raj, I believe it was Raj last night at the beginning of your show, made a pretty good point. It might have been you, but I'll just credit Raj. That the trapping really does emphasize Luka and LeBron's IQ. And it gives them a chance to sort of use their basketball brains to anticipate where passes are going to go and sort of see if they can get a tip on it and predict the offense rather than having to react to it or use, like, you know, I mean, obviously LeBron doesn't have limited physical tools, but sometimes he picks his spots, and Luka does. Like, Luka's not necessarily going to be the quickest lateral guy and that sort of stuff, but he does have length and he does have smarts. And, you know, he's, we called LeBron the best transition player in NBA history. Luka might be the best transition player right now. And so, you know, when you get those guys out in transition, it is really dangerous. And this sort of switchy defense with Luka committing to it the way that he is, and committing to the traps, committing to jumping the passing lanes, like trying to generate all of these turnovers, I do think is has been part of what's made him effective. And look, like I also think that we need to talk about like sort of the quiet part here, pun intended, is that he is chirping at the refs a lot less. And I think that we are seeing like a lot of like how much energy that can take. I'm not saying that Luka doesn't,
redistributed
Luka
energy.
Luka gets tired yelling or whatever, but Luka, now that he cannot spend
mental bandwidth,
the next possession adjudicating all of the different ways that referee is stupid, while the other team runs up on offense, like because he doesn't want to get suspended for a game, he is getting back in transition more. The team appears to be complaining a little bit less and whining and letting all of that get in their heads. And like, I do think that all of this stuff has a cascading effect. And, I looked up the stats last night. I haven't looked them up since last night's game, but since getting his 15th technical, Luka's averaging 38.2 points per game. The Lakers have improved their defensive rating by about 10 points, and they've improved their overall net rating from 3.2 to 17.2 in his minutes. They basically went from like being like slightly better than the other team in his minutes on the season to, like blowing teams out just because he is like, I mean, again, small sample size, whatever, but a lot of that is just that he's getting back now and he is not spending the entire next possession just like whining and complaining to the refs.
So last 6 games, the Lakers, obviously in the middle of this 6-game winning streak. This is something that I've been watching throughout this winning streak. Luka's on-off numbers are hilarious. When Luka is on the court, the Lakers are scoring right now at a rate of 120.3 points per 100 possessions, and they're defending with a net with a defensive rating of 105.1. So that's a net rating of 15.2 when Luka is on the court. When he's off of the court, and again, small sample sizes, blah 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 blah. When he's off of the court, the Lakers are scoring at 118.7 points per 100 possessions, so slightly worse, and they're defending significantly worse when he is off of the court. Their defensive rating jumps to 130.4. That's a net rating of minus 11.7 when Luka is off of the court. So that swing rating is like 26 points per 100 possessions there with Luka. And again, small sample size.
They go from like the Wizards to the Thunder with him like on off.
But you would never think that would be the case defensively with Luka, right? Like you would never think that.
If you watch the last several games, you can see it. They are better defensively. When they have this version of Luka on the floor, they are better off defensively, and you're so much better offensively that's going to make a huge difference. Also, again, like it's easier to get your defense set because you're scoring more often because he's hitting every single shot that leaves his hands, basically. And so like there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, but like I just have seen him look so much more engaged on that end over this last little stretch. And I do think that a big chunk of it is just that he isn't spending half of his mental energy just thinking about what insult he's going to call the ref this time.
What can I get away with here? Yeah. I actually think it's been redistributed in a way where like, and I think we talked about this kind of in jest the last time that we recorded, kind of talking about how like, instead of yelling at the referees, he's yelling out instructions at his teammates, like and how and I think that there's actually something to that. I think we're watching this guy like really kind of mature, and I know that people are going to say, well, he's 27 years old and man, like how did it take so long to mature and stuff like this. This is where playing with the LeBron James really helps, right? Because like if you aren't professional around LeBron and you're the team's 1A,
it's going to stand out.
Really stands out that you are not professional on a LeBron team. And I think like it's been not, like I actually think sometimes that I noticed some exasperation on Luka's teammate's face when Luka would be complaining the way that he did, like, oh, I got to stand between him and the referee again. Yeah. I got to be focused on this. And here we go again.
Like, oh shit, Vando's on the bench. I got to get over there.
Right. Like, I think that like the vibes legitimately picked up by way of him just not like having that as an outlet anymore. And I wonder if somebody with the Lakers has kind of made that known to Luka, like, hey, I think everybody's in a better mood right now. Wonder what's changed. And I hope that that's a conversation that takes place.
You think they had their analytics staffer go and make that point to him? They just sent him in there. They're like, okay, so our VORP, when you're not complaining at the refs.
Exactly.
Luka just
well, I
punches
would
him.
love to know. I would love to know like the Lakers record in games that he has picked up a tee. Like I would love to know what happens immediately after he picks up a tee, like what the Lakers offensive or defensive rating jumps to or falls to.
I'd imagine it's not
in
good.
The immediate. Yeah, like I mean those
like
those tees,
there is
like
Luka. I'm not going to say that he loses control of his temper, that it isn't sometimes a weapon. Like we saw it against the Bulls with Matas the other night, that he can use spite as a weapon. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like when he can't take it out on the ref. It's one thing, if you're going to be like, I'm going to use this energy to get Matas on a switch and I'm going to make his life absolutely hell. He's going to get flamed in every single group chat that he's in. His teammates are going to be looking at him like, why did you do this tonight? Whereas like with the ref, all you can do is continue to whine, continue to complain. Yeah. You can't do anything. If anything, it's working against you because they are human beings.
Always
and they're going to be like, I am not giving you this call because you are so annoying right now. And I do think that like there is like an intangible aspect to just like him not having that outlet anymore and having to direct that somewhere else. And I do hope that he has people in his ear. If it's not JJ, it should be. And if it's not like his like favorite assistant coach on the staff, like it should be. And, if it or it should be his agent, it should be people in his life who care about his success. Like people need to be telling him, look, like this is what the critics are correct about, is that, this is the reason that you get dinged. And look, they kind of have a point about this one thing.
I agree. And could we just like quick detour on the Matas thing, because to have an NBA player say after the game, I probably shouldn't have talked shit. He
had 50. No shit. You shouldn't have, like it's like,
how hard it is. Like these guys are the most competitive, stubborn people on planet Earth. And to have that, like one of those guys say that a peer made it so that I should probably not talk to him. That's incredible. That was unbelievable. And no,
it's like
you're right.
We're gonna get
you got the right lesson there.
In like 15 years, Matas is going to be on a podcast like Amon Shumpert, and like he's going to say what Luka really said to him. And it's going to be something like that Amon Shumpert story in the Garden where Kobe in the start of the fourth quarter tells him, he's like, all right, good game. What game? Good game. What do you mean? There's 12 minutes left. And then just gets like absolutely lit up for the last 12 minutes. And like there's going to be some story about Luka where he's like it's going to come out what he actually said to Matas, and I can't wait.
Do you buy that he didn't know it was Matas? Like what the guy's name was?
See, with most guys, I would feel like that was a dig. Luka talks all the time about he does not watch League Pass, so it would not surprise me if he didn't know who Matas was.
I actually, I don't think he knew. I think he looked down. I think he knew what number jersey he wore.
Yeah.
And he found like the guy's jersey number, and he was like, it was Matas. It was Matas.
Yeah.
Like, it was Damas.
I actually do buy that Luka did not know who he was.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I think that was.
I don't think he's like an NBA sicko like that. Like obviously he's a basketball sicko. Everybody, it's like when people are like, "Oh, Jokic doesn't care about basketball." Obviously he does. He wouldn't be that good. Like Luka obviously cares about basketball and cares about being good at basketball. I just don't think that he watches that much NBA.
Yeah, which hopefully frees up the front office to just like acquire whoever they want to acquire. Like.
Or it makes it worse because it's like every player that gets too much personnel power where they're like, this guy played really good against me one time. We got to give up 3 firsts to get him.
It would be funny because like Matas, I actually really like his game.
I think Luka, I think, actually we have to thank Grant Williams because I think that he is so annoying that Luka did the player GM thing to like get him on the Mavs and like wanted him out within like 3 months. That like I think that hopefully that was sort of like, you know, Luka smoked the whole pack of cigarettes and he's like, you know, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think I wrote somewhere like a few years ago that like Jokic not caring about personnel is a
Yeah.
potential
Yeah.
market inefficiency, and I think I stand by that. I think I really
Until
stand
he
by
wanted
that.
to get Russ.
Man, it's crazy how many players keep making that mistake.
Yeah.
Like you would think that
Look, he plays
eventually,
hard. If you're playing against him, I can see why you'd be like, yeah, that guy's good. Like, you know,
yeah,
he like, you know, you're just you take that shoulder to the chest like a couple times and it's like, oh man, how do people stop this on a night to night basis? And it's like, well, he
yeah.
just misses.
The other, the final part of this trio that is, I think, making our optimism with this team possible has been Austin. And I've been kind of iffy about like, what kind of contract should Austin, would I like to see Austin on next year? I don't like to use the phrase like should he get, right? Because that is a different connotation altogether. But like what kind of number I would be comfortable with Austin on. And Harrison, his offensive numbers weren't spectacular last night, but him playing the defense that he was able to play in that game with that level of just collective athleticism and kind of just how ridiculous Houston's roster is in that specific way. Like I I think whatever number he comes in at, I think the Lakers can make work because his superpower is his ability to just make it happen. Like no matter
Yeah.
what it is, like if the Lakers need him to be a primary creator, he'll be that primary creator. That do I want him as the Lakers primary creator always? No, like I think he's underqualified to do that. But from game to game, situation by situation, if he needs to be a secondary creator and attack a somewhat compromised defense, then cool. If he needs to attack a fully compromised defense, then even better. I do wish he was more consistent, a shooter. That is going to be the thing that really vaults him to like the perfect co-star for Luka. But his willingness to just kind of make it work and his ability to be that kind of flexible as a basketball player, you don't see that very often. Like
Yeah.
it's like you were kind of talking about this with LeBron earlier, as far as like his interest in accepting the role that he needs to now. Um, it's one thing to do that at the end of your career when you have done everything that LeBron has done over the course of his insane career. But for somebody in his prime going into a contract discussion where he is going to be looking to make generational money for the first time, well, it depends on how we're defining generational money, but
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say
his
if
first,
he
like,
saved well, he already has generational money.
yeah, I
Like
think he's
he
doing all
should be.
right.
I think he's gonna be okay, but you know, obviously he's gonna get a lot more.
Yeah, but like, in a contract year, going into the specific kinds of negotiations that he's going to be going into this year, where all right, here's the descriptor, the proper descriptor. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent this season for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Since he got into the NBA. And yet his ability to or his flexibility to make whatever role happen the way that he has is so special, and it is really rare and underrated. Um, in a way that like I'm just really like blown away by the season that he's had. Where do you stand on Austin here and the way that he's played during the stretch?
Yeah, he's been awesome, and I think that it is like it does remind me of that Luka Kyrie finals run a little bit, where Austin is not the shooter that Kyrie was. He's obviously not as fast, but he does like just in terms of having that secondary ball handler who is a threat away from the ball, who can attack compromise defense really well. Like that is exactly the type of guy that you want playing off of Luka in the backcourt, and it's why like I like their fit together long term, I think that there obviously are going to be defensive concerns, but I don't think that either of those guys are hopeless defenders. Like Austin's not a bad
We've
defender. He's a
seen it.
limited defender. We've
Yeah.
seen him, like, there are roles that you can put Austin in. Like, Austin, for as much flack as he gets for his defense, he's usually not the worst defender on the floor for the Lakers. And
Unless he's like on a specific defensive like lineup, right? So
yeah,
like before, like when the Lakers last year were playing that lineup of like him, Max, LeBron, Dorian, and AD, like he was the worst defender on the court, but only because somebody had to be.
yeah, yeah. And but this year, like, he's almost never the worst defender on the court. Like, there's Rui, there's Ayton on a lot of nights. There's plenty of options to choose from. And I just think that I don't want to overdo the white guy cliches here, but he's just like, he is a gamer. All the stuff that you're describing are just a guy who just wants to win. And I think that maybe this is the common thread that we're seeing over these last 5 or 6 games, is sort of that vision coming together of all three of these guys. Less so Luka. He's not really accepting a role, but he is more committed to the things that help you drive winning. LeBron has been more committed to the things that will help him drive winning for this team.
Luka has accepted a role defensively that he hadn't accepted before. So
yeah, we always talk about offensive role, but like Luka, all of these guys are doing what is necessary, but not necessarily glamorous. And I think that has helped us. And look, Ayton deserves a lot of credit in this respect. He's been much better since quitting on the team a couple weeks ago. I guess like they got him IV a crunk juice, and he's ready to go again. And so I'm not picking them to win the title, but I think that this team can give just about anyone a tough series. I hate to keep bringing up the Spurs, but it's like I see that team, and how they have manhandled the Lakers this year, and how they look like they were just built specifically to beat this Lakers team and make them look as bad as possible. Like, I don't feel good about that one, but basically any other team in the West, I think of the Lakers could have a competitive series or two against.
Yeah, my final point on Austin is that, like, I have talked a lot about building a winning Lakers culture, and I think he's 1000% the kind of guy that you want a part of your winning culture. That's really important. And again, like we talk about like how leadership is this thing that gets reflected. What's the line from Remember the Titans? I think it's like effort reflects leadership, captain, right? And the way that like Rui, I think, has been playing significantly better defense recently. And you mentioned Ayton. I think Ayton has been playing much better defense recently. I think Kennard, since he's come over, has been a better defender than I thought he was going to be. And I think a lot of the way that the Lakers are playing defense collectively is a reflection of the effort that role players are seeing from the best players at the top of the roster. And
then you have enough guys, you have enough force multipliers of that effort. Like Marcus Smart, is always a guy that's going to play like that, regardless of how the top of the roster is. Like, if you have LeBron diving for loose balls and Marcus Smart taking charges, it's like, how are you not going to sacrifice your body? It's like that. All of that stuff like has a cascading effect where, like Luka is like backpedaling as hard as he possibly can to try and get a deflection. And it's like, okay, well then I need to really like run and try and save this ball in bounds, because he just put in all that work to try and like even keep this possession alive or create this possession for us. And like, I just think that all this stuff starts to stack on top of each other.
Absolutely. Really quickly, well, I think we have a super comment up at the top, which I'll get to here in a second. The last thing I did want to talk about some of the role players here, because the Lakers do have some decisions to make coming into this offseason, where they can either like kind of run this group back and make some tweaks either on the peripheries or maybe add a different kind of starter or something like that. I'm not going to go so far as to say that like I am here. I wouldn't play this clip, for example.
Run it back, run it back, run it back, run it back, run it back.
That wouldn't be my choice for this offseason. But there are a lot more role players, like given the way that like guys are playing right now, that I'm kind of intrigued by moving forward. Like, hey, this is if this is something close to who you are, you're certainly a very interesting player. Like Marcus Smart is somebody who like I want that guy back. Whether it's him opting in, I don't think he's going to opt in, or just like getting him a better contract. Maybe not long term because of his ailments over the course of his career, but like Marcus Smart is a guy. He's a gamer who I want on the Lakers moving forward. Luke Kennard is somebody who really intrigues me. Jake LaRavia and his like effort is somebody who like I could see being the like 8th or 9th guy on a championship team.
And he's what, 22? He's still developing too, is the other thing with him.
Yeah. And there are obvious ways that he can get better. And so like yeah, I don't know if it's
locked in the gym with Lethal Shooter this summer, just doing whatever basketball jigsaw contraptions. Like,
yeah, starting with shooting, like just shoot the ball. Like the ball rotates over to you, just take the shot.
Well, it's like you and then it goes to like, okay, we got spiked hoops, and there's guys coming at you with scythes.
Yeah, exactly. But like I don't know if it's a matter of like role players are always going to look better when the stars are playing at the level that the Lakers stars are playing at right now. So that I guess should be kind of taken into account. But there are a lot more guys who I'm more intrigued by at this stage of the season than I thought I would be. Where is there anybody like you? Marcus Smart is a guy for me. Bring him back. I don't care. Like whatever it takes, bring that dude back. Is there anybody like that for you among the role players?
The only guy that I would be devastated if they did not bring back is Marcus Smart. Like I'm ready to begin construction on his statue right now. What did you say?
I can't believe we're saying that about a former Celtic. Like it's just
that's exactly why I'm saying it. Because can you imagine how devastated Boston will be if Marcus Smart
if he wins the championship as a
Lakers title to tie them up at 18? And it's like talking about how, like, Boston didn't believe in me. They shipped me out. I'm just glad to be in the town. Like, I'll always be
a Laker for life.
Like, that will rip their hearts out in a way that, like, no other player being a part of a title contender could. Like, you will have Boston fans cheering for the Lakers if it is not their team meeting them in the finals because of Marcus Smart. And, like, I just think that's great. I think it's so funny. And, like, and also
happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. Like, this is the perfect day to make this point.
Yeah, we're really getting that Celtics ass right now. Shout out to James Worthy. And Marcus Smart, it's just like you see why there was such a cult of personality around him in Boston. Watching him day to day is just like he just plays so hard every single possession and looks like he is, there's the cliche about like, being willing to like sacrifice for your brothers or, whatever, like, sacrifice to win. Like, I believe that Marcus Smart would actually sacrifice himself to win a basketball game. Like if there was, like if there was
I thought he did last night. I couldn't believe he kept playing after he was limping the way that he was. It's like, what?
Yeah.
How are you out there?
He is one of the few NBA players I believe is actually willing to die out there. Like that's how much it means to him. And, I just like, I have enjoyed every single minute of the Marcus Smart experience. I love that the way that he can make like the greatest defensive play you've ever seen. And then immediately transition and then immediately like go in transition and take the dumbest three you have ever watched. And like the team still wins the game because he gets another deflection on the next possession. And like, I love him. He's amazing.
Yeah. He's like driving in that like Toontown roller coaster, right? Like in Disneyland. Like we're just like there are no normal turns in that ride, and you're looking at the ground the whole time. You're like, wait, how is this actually working? Like when Marcus Smart like makes his layup, you're like, Wait, how did he do that? How did he get to the rim? Yeah, he's like the Toontown coaster, Marcus Smart. All right, let's dive into the comments here, starting with on St. Patrick's Day.
I think you got to play it again. I think you got to play it again for St. Patrick's Day.
I could play it I could play it from here till Kingdom Come. I will say this. I say
the
this
next 10 minutes hitting that sound effect until we get sued by HBO.
Do you think they care anymore? Like that show's not being made.
No, HBO doesn't exist. They closed down, I think.
So I say this every year on St. Patrick's Day, and I know that I sound high and mighty and holier than thou when I say it, but on this St. Patrick's Day, we who root for the Los Angeles Lakers have to wear our purple and gold bruises with honor and with pride from being pinched for not wearing green. Because I refuse. I will not do it.
Okay, I got a little green on, but I mean, I didn't intend to. I actually honestly didn't know it was St. Patrick's Day until we were recording.
Yeah,
but,
no,
there's like a green lightsaber on my shirt, but other than that,
no, I think that's a little different. Like that, yeah. It's different when like you don't think of it. Like if I'll see Lakers like fans, people who I know are Lakers fans wearing like Kelly green, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like what?
The only green shirt that I've ever owned is a St. Patty's Pub from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia shirt that I
have. Yeah. Well, like I'm Mexican, so I've had stuff with like the Mexican flag on it, which has red, white, and green. So like that's somewhat different. But I think
that's acceptable. I think you're allowed to do that one.
I've never worn like a green shirt, like or at least
that's an off-season pod. What is acceptable green for Lakers fans to wear?
Honestly, chart that one down. That'll be an off-season conversation. Because I do own some olive green stuff. Like I have an olive green hoodie and an olive green like bomber jacket, but other than that, like I don't have anything that is that specific shade of green, that like that Celtics Kelly green that they have. I could not get myself to wear that.
If you need a solution, you put on a Danny Green jersey from 2020 and you just say, look, I am wearing green. It says it right here, green, right on the back in purple.
Yeah. Victor Arev, this is the dumbest conversation I have ever heard. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Harrison Days on the pod.
Oh, I thought somebody paid us to put that up there. I was like, damn, all right, thanks, Victor.
Alex, by the way, from last night, I still haven't heard from you, and I still want to pay you back for the super comment that you made last night.
Yeah, I can't believe you're upcharging cancer patients. What are you, an insurance company?
I'm not. I'm trying to pay him back. I was willing to give him like $100 back. Like I like, but all right. Yep, she's right. Writes. Since his second season, Braun has given AR autonomy and grew faster. And Austin grew faster because of LeBron. AR put in work, but Lakers media needs to mention it. If it was Kobe, y'all would. I feel like we have given LeBron a ton of credit on this front. Like,
I feel like we talk, if not every show, almost every show, about how much of Austin's development is that LeBron was trusting him at the end of games.
And how insane it is that he trusted Austin. Like an undrafted white dude, like that is not normally like, you think about the players that LeBron has trusted, like legitimately trusted over the course of his career. It's Dwayne Wade and it's Kyrie Irving. That's it. Both of those dudes were like some of the most gifted basketball players we have seen in their time. Austin, for everything that you can say about him, and I've said plenty about him, I would not put him in the class of a Kyrie Irving or a Dwayne Wade, at least not right now. And there
was also Russell Westbrook for about 10 games before that got old.
I think it was like one possession, and then it was like, that 17-foot bank shot.
I guess we have to add Luka to the list now, right?
Yeah, Luka does. Yeah, I would say so. But like that, Luka, Kyrie, and Wade, and then Russell Westbrook in like one practice, and that was that was it. But like, Austin is
that
in
one
that
practice where they
category.
did the Instagram post where they laughed at the haters who said that they couldn't make it work. And then, like, we never got an Instagram post following up being like, turns out the haters were right. I got to hand it to the haters.
Props to the haters.
Yeah.
But no, like, I guess, look, I would have said it if it was Kobe, and I'll say it here with it being LeBron. Like, what LeBron has done for Austin is nothing short of spectacular, and it's put the Lakers in a better spot as an organization as a result.
I feel like we are not the podcast that is like, oh man, like, Kobe this, Kobe that, but like LeBron sucks.
It's so funny. The frequency that I am told
We
that
spent Kobe's entire last 2 years complaining about his like farewell tour.
The frequency with which I am like accused of being on Clutch's payroll, or a Luka stan, or a Luka hater, or an Austin hater, like, I wish we could just disagree without
No one has ever
attributing.
accused you of being an Austin hater. Come on.
Last night, you didn't see that?
No.
Last night, somebody said that I hate Austin because he's white.
Well, it's only one half of you that hates him for that. It's
Yeah, it was like it was crazy. Raj was blown away too. I was like, wait, what? Me?
I didn't finish last night's show yet. That's so good.
Yeah. All right. The next question here we got comes from Brandon Omeng. Is that the one? Yeah. All right. Brandon Omeng writes, why is Jake guaranteed minutes every night? He's been bad lately. Don't understand why Vando was always in the doghouse. Also, Luke needs to shoot way more. Luke is in a bit of a slump. If the Lakers curse gets to Luke Kennard, then the Lakers organization needs to seriously rethink.
Nope. This is not on the Lakers. This is the Luke Kennard cycle. This is what happens every time he joins a new team. It's like, oh man, look at this devastating weapon. I love Luke Kennard. Wait, why won't he shoot more? Wait, why is he totally not shooting? Wait, now he's benched. And that is like the Luke Kennard team life cycle. So like, I'm not going to put that one on the Lakers. For the Jake thing, I do actually want to address this because like, I think that the reason he gets minutes over Vando is, going back to the white thing. Like, I think that teams like racial profile him as a 3-point shooter every so often. And like, they respect him outside in a way they do not Vando.
Yeah. No, I said it last night on the show. I said like, and it was a funny episode to make this point, seeing is like I was accused of not liking white players, but like Jake, you look at the way that teams close out to Jake and the opportunity it gives him to take that closeout dribble or attack the closeout on that dribble. That is something that Vando doesn't really have as an option. But also on top of it,
I love the idea that teams' coaching staffs are telling their players, they're like, don't close out on Laravia. Okay, let him shoot. And they look at Jake and they're like, there's no way this guy can't shoot. There's no other possible way he would be playing. Like,
I'm telling you, it's ingrained in players' brains from AAU years where it's like, why else would that guy be on the court?
Yeah,
exactly. Like that. Why else is that guy playing? But yeah, I think it's a combination though of like in more seriousness, Jake's effort, his ability to score at the rim is a big one, and I think he's a lot less volatile than Vando is. Where like Vando will get out there and commit like 5 fouls in 37 seconds, and all of a sudden you're in the bonus for the remainder of like the third quarter. And that kind of hurts him. Whereas like Jake, for everything that and trust me, I share a lot of the frustrations with Jake's game at times too, but like he's a lot more predictable than Vando is, I think. And from role players, given how good the guys are at the top of the roster, predictability is a really important element. But I will say this though, Brandon, I do want Vando to play more. I think eventually I would like to see Vando take some of Luke Kennard's minutes. Let's see. We get another one here from Brandon who writes, also, if we win the next 3 or 4 or the next 4 or 4, I might start getting a little delusional. Also off topic, but the thoughts on us getting Kyler this is a Vikings question. Can see us trading JJ. Well, they fired the general manager who drafted JJ McCarthy. So if I'm JJ McCarthy, I wouldn't exactly be looking at Minnesota real estate anytime soon.
I was so confused when they said, "Can you see us trading JJ Redick for Steve Kyler?"
Oh my God. I have not thought, is that person still in this industry?
I don't know, honestly.
I will never forget the day that I played basketball with Steve Kyler, and he didn't hit the rim on a single jumper that he took.
Yeah, but you were
warm-up
still
or
guarding him
in
like he
game.
was Jake LaRavia, you know?
Remember, he like stacked his team so his team would win, despite the fact that every time he shot the ball, he never.
Incredible lob passes from Steve.
Air quotes on passes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm excited about Kyler though. I'm excited that like he can actually use his legs a little bit and open up the offense that way. And I'm glad that Justin Jefferson finally has like a at least league average quarterback. He deserves that. He's so good. Now, as far as like the Lakers' next 4 games that Brandon is alluding to here, the Lakers, their tests continue, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so at Houston, at Miami, who's been playing well, at Orlando, and at Detroit. I would probably say they win 2 of those. Any more than like 2 of those, I'd be thrilled.
If Brandon, I'm going to say, like, if they do win the next 4 of 4 and they're on a 10-game winning streak, I think you should get a little delusional, you know?
Yeah, I mean, at that point,
what are sports for if we're not going to get a little delusional about something like that, you know?
Harrison, I'm so glad you made this point. So in the lounge Discord, somebody noticed, like, he was like, "Hey, we're really like the Lakers are playing really well right now. Why are we not enjoying this?" And I didn't respond. I was kind of seeing like what the responses would be, and I think like for the most part, it was just kind of like still not quite sure. You know, I'm the guy who if a game is going, if a really important game is going well and I start watching and then that game starts going poorly, I will stop watching. Like I will, I don't want to I think like I'm that kind of superstitious at times.
You're not superstitious, but you're a little stitious.
I'm a little stitious. Yeah. And like with this team, I'm a little reluctant to like fully dive in, head first into belief in this team. But at the same time, like that is such a great point that like sports mathematically are such a bad bet.
It is a bad investment, like objectively, but it's good if you get to have fun sometimes when your team is winning.
Yeah. And I think that's basically where I stand is like, you know what? Dive on in. Have your fun with this,
Why should we be? I mean, I understand why like you and I theoretically, professionally, should be more concerned with being right than enjoying something and having fun. But like, if you're a fan, who cares if you're right or not? Like you enjoy the feeling of the hope. We all need a little more hope in this world sometimes,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, even in our industry, it's better to be memorable than right.
Well, so I guess it depends on what you're doing, but yeah. Also, I forgot the Lakers. I have a tip for the Lakers coaching staff going into this back-to-back with Houston. I don't think Luka is on the internet that much, but I assume he's heard about the KD burner scandal. Can you Photoshop Lakers coaching staff some fake DMs from that group chat with KD where he says some like really mean? He's like, "Man, I bet Luka can't get back. Is never going to get back in transition tonight."
So did you see the tweet that I sent that people are either really, really in agreement on or really, really angry about KD?
Was it the Paul George one?
No, the Paul George one, everybody was pretty unanimous in saying that was correct.
Okay.
But that was the correct reading of that one. But I wrote that Kevin Durant has been the common denominator in like all of the lousiest locker rooms of the last decade. At some point, you're the bad roommate. What do you think? Like, I don't know. I stand by it. Like,
I don't.
This is a guy who, like, we found out that this guy had burners and he was shitting on teammates.
This man has been caught with a burner before, and he went back and made another burner.
Yeah, and like the stuff that he was saying in the group, like he might be like a good teammate in some ways, but I don't think he's somebody that I would want to go to war with. Like,
Yeah, I think
super
it's
talented
possible to be
basketball player, but
I
I
don't
think
think
he
he's a
sucks as
bad
a
person, but I think
yeah.
that he is probably a difficult teammate.
Yeah. Well, I think he views basketball through a very narrow lens. And I think that affects kind of
and then he's gonna like clip this and be like, oh, how could you guys call these me a bad teammate when you've never been in the locker room? It's like, well, like I've never called any of my coworkers crayon eaters in a DM with like people I've never met. So it's look, we all have our strengths and weaknesses as employees and as teammates.
I have loved it. It was like, because the response out of Houston is like, how come every time we lose, this is like they start talking about the locker room, and it's like all year we've been hearing about how much Ime hates Reed Shepherd. You have the DM thing, the group text thing that you have with Kevin Durant. You have guys very clearly not liking Alperen Şengün, and Kevin Durant specifically not liking Alperen Şengün. Like
Kevin Durant, like getting closer to the rim mic to call him the B word, like
he knows where that mic is, and he made sure to say it right there.
Play some defense. And I
knew that was
like
going viral.
We're making fun of Kevin Durant a little bit, but like I will say, Triple Double Cocaine Bear is like the best piece of basketball writing anyone has ever done this year. Like that is like Kevin Durant, you should have been an SB Nation team site blogger. Like you were born to do it. You have the personality for it. Like I if you ever want to come home, if you ever want to do like your own Players Tribune on the Dream Shake, whatever, just hit me up. Like we'll make it happen. We'll get you a stipend. We'll get you into WordPress, just let us know.
I think that he is genuinely funny. Yes. And I think he is a genuinely bright person.
Yeah.
I think he looks at basketball through a very narrow lens, and that impacts his ability to be the kind of teammate that would coincide with some of his other character traits.
It's also like we're all flawed people. It's like there might be some people that say that I'm a good boss, but there might be some people that say that I'm like that I am thrifty and like don't spend money, and that my humor gets in the way of like my seriousness at times. It's like we all have flaws as human beings. Like Kevin Durant seems like a generous, charitable person who like does good things in the community. Like he's not a bad dude. He just like it seems like maybe not the easiest guy to be teammates with all the time.
What or like,
especially not when the situation is not going well.
Exactly. He's not the guy who's going to like turn everything around from a vibe standpoint.
Byron Scott does not want him in his foxhole.
Well, in that case, I like Kevin Durant more, but all right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that share button, turn on those notifications, all that good stuff. Harrison, anything that you want to plug before we get you out of here?
No, just check out SB Nation. I've really been enjoying using the feed this year. And so like if you have a favorite team, and I'm guessing it's probably the Lakers, like silverscreenandroll.com/feed. It's like a fun forum to go and chat with people either like outside of the games, during games, and it does everything where you can have the same author go from the team is clearly better without LeBron to like, I'm feeling pretty good about this win streak. And it is like a fun place to just like ride the highs and lows in real time and talk with other fans.
I do like that these conversations are becoming a little bit more segmented.
Group chats are the future. We're going back to group chats. We weren't meant to talk to this many people. We're scaling it back.
It got like too loud in Twitter. So I like that Offside exists. I like that I haven't checked out the feed, but like that I like what Discord does for some of these conversations as well. It's just this community's been pretty cool. So yeah. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you tomorrow with Raj after the game.